Good evening, YouTube. Okay, so I'm 2 minutes late. My apologies. We are hoping to have Richard, a stonemason, not a Freemason, with us very, very shortly. So we welcome your comments, any questions or any points you want to make. Let's get them up and let's discuss it. I have had one mega 11 days of hard work. To be honest, I'm absolutely knackered. I'm day off tomorrow. I've been covering shifts for one of my work colleagues who hasn't been able to come in due to being poorly. So it was day 11 for me today at work. And my apologies for not being able to put up a live stream on YouTube. I like to put a few videos up now and again, but as I say, I just haven't had time to do that. So hopefully Richard will be joining us soon. And as I said in my earlier video, hopefully David Yates will be joining us for a short time. Looks like Richard is ready to join us now, so I'll just bring him in. There you go. Add to stream. There you go, Richard, you're in.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear.
How you doing, Rob?
Yeah, I'm good. I was just explaining to anybody who might have been listening at the early when I first come on that I've worked the last 11 days. I've not had a day off, so I'm quite tired and I haven't had a chance to do any videos or anything like that. So I've got a day off tomorrow, so I'm looking forward to that. I'm going to chill out and get some well-earned rest.
What do you call chill out then, Rob?
What do I call chill out? Catching up on all my YouTube videos. Okay. Maybe listen to a bit of music. Cooking a nice meal. Nothing elaborate, you know, just the humble things of life.
Absolutely, yeah. So
how are you, Rick?
I'm pretty average, middle of the road.
Well, average? That's not good. You can't be average.
I could be what? This is the thing about average, Rob. Average is middle of the road. Now I can be.
That was chirpy, chirpy, cheap, cheap.
Oh gosh,
you're old enough to remember that song, middle of the road.
Yeah.
Chirpy, chirpy, yeah.
Last night,
gone. Where is Richard gone?
Yeah, he's there. Yeah, it's been a bit of a funny day today because yesterday, the sky. I did a video earlier. I uploaded a video early on. Yesterday, the sky was God's sky. It was absolutely beautiful. I was at
it was clear as well. Yeah.
Yeah, but today, and I managed to catch one about 6:30. I popped out just to get a recording of today's sky, and I do it most days actually, but I don't always upload them. But today was like grey.
Yeah, it's been overcast here.
Yeah, it's been overcast, but I think we were promised like the same as yesterday. But I managed to catch through the grey cloud, and it was deep grey cloud. I managed to catch David calls them. I think he calls them like hacksaw trails because they sort of like tooth out. It's really weird how they dissipate. They don't really dissipate. It's just how they spread out. It does look like a blooming, like a bow saw blade, you know, the huge, great fans coming off.
That's right.
And I don't know how these contrail people can explain how they actually do that and form, you know, these sort of like zigzaggy little puffs that just come out. I don't know. I'd love somebody to explain how that happens. But today I've been a bit sort of low because, just because of the sky, really. And it don't really get to me too much. But today, Like, yeah, it's just maybe it's something in the air. Well, it is something in the air, isn't it? Maybe it's
Yeah,
something in the air. But I
that
caught them
also
today.
comes from as well, wasn't it?
I caught them today. Exactly what they were doing? Right above right in between the sort of like the cloudy, the low clouds. I just managed to catch one. So I did just edit the video. I'll upload it once we've done. But the thing about getting high and low is it's it's like a manic depressive sort of thing, or bipolar they call it. Is if you get too high and too happy, it's inevitable that your biorhythms will send you right down to the bottom again. It doesn't matter
Yeah,
whether you're bipolar or manic depressive, or you're sort of like a normal human being. You will have highs and you will have lows. It's part of these. It's a 30-day cycle. Biorhythms is called.
I have heard of that.
Yeah, and it's possibly something to do with the moon, the light of the silvery moon, or well, what else is there? 30-day cycle. You've got the menopause. Well,
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 have you?
I can't explain this, Rich, but you know, when there's a full moon, I start sprouting hair. It's weird. I can't put a finger on it.
Yeah, but I think we're coming up to a full
Well,
moon pretty soon. But yeah, it's a thing. So it's like
well,
it's a 30. The biorhythms is a 30-day cycle, and if you at any point do a little search for biorhythms, it's a 30-day cycle, and it goes up in a gentle curve or a gentle sort of half sphere, half circle, and then it goes down. So it's like
yeah,
waves of highs and lows, highs and lows. And a lot of people, myself included, are really susceptible to extreme highs. This is where the term manic depressive comes from. And they changed it to bipolar. Now they changed it to bipolar. Why? It's because it takes away the extreme elements. Bipolar can mean anything, really.
exactly,
Whereas manic
exactly.
depressive, as it used to be, means you are manic for it'll probably be for a day. You've reached a peak, and then you'll be depressive 15 days later. And it's a curve, an up and down curve. So I mean, I've had medication for it going back decades. And I came off of them a long, long time ago when I realised that what is like Prozac. I've been on Prozac loads of times in the past, and then citalopram. That was another one.
And I just ask you, Prozac, that's an antidepressant, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, I thought it was.
yeah. But the thing about these sorts of things, what they actually do is they take away emotion. This is what it did for me. It just nulls emotion. Okay. So you what it does, it suppresses the highs and it suppresses the lows, but it also suppresses any creativity you've got and any like free thinking you've got. It basically turned me into a cabbage. And I noticed it because I'm always thinking and always creating. And it just took away that element, and I monitored it.
Yeah,
And I self-taught myself how to deal with manic depression, and it's basically remain average. Know to not get too excited when you're at your height of jollity, and know to not get too depressed at the lowest ebb. Is to
yeah.
know when these points are coming, so don't get too happy because you know the fall is going to be further to get to that.
Rich, can I just ask you how long were you on Prozac?
I was on, oh gosh, well, I was on Prozac in 1994, 95. I can remember that because I was at college and it was heavy. College was heavy for me because I was old. I was 30. I thought I'd be the oldest one in college. In my doing stonemasonry, I thought I was going to be the oldest one, but I was about mid age. So, but I did fret a little bit at college just because I'm a guy that likes to work. So taking 2 years out to go to college to me was it was sort of like unmanly, if you get my drift, you know.
Yeah, yeah, I do.
And that sort of played on me a lot. I should be out working rather than going to school, and it played a lot on me. But I went on Prozac 3 times, and I was on it for a week.
What you need is some Guinness Porter. That's what you want, not Prozac. Some of that Guinness Porter.
No, there's my coffee. I just popped my coffee flask open.
You're to blame for this, Richard. You got me on this. You're to blame.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
It's lovely.
Yeah, West India.
Rich, quickly going back to what you were saying about the lines in the sky, I had to mention before I forget. Sorry to interrupt you as well.
That's right. Carry on. Don't say sorry to me.
Just a Voice 5 recently put a video up. I think he said he lives in Indiana in the US. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I couldn't believe. I've never seen anything like it. You know, for the line, it was like tic-tac-toe 10 times over.
Yeah.
It was absolutely mind-boggling, and people can't see it. People don't see it.
I know.
How can they not question it?
Well, who'd you question? Who'd you question? I mean, people, the government. This video I took tonight, and I did comment. I said, "What's the point when the government?" Hello, Mad Sheila. What's the point in complaining? Because the only people you need to complain is the government. And what's the point when they're in utter deniance of it? And come on.
I think what's more important, Richard, is not complaining to the government, because that won't achieve anything. What I think is important is making people aware and wake them up to what is going on in the skies above.
Yeah,
right. So many people have got their heads buried in their iPhones, and they're not looking, they're not seeing. And if they do see it, they put it down. What do they call it? They call it contrails, don't they?
Yeah, they call it contrails. You'll probably get a banner under this live stream now with their contrail BS. This is a thing. Most people watch the television. Now, if they don't put it on the television as an issue, like they're doing with this flipping war, I haven't seen the television so long, but I haven't kept up with what's going on over there in the east. But people will believe. We even had a protest in Taunton in support of Ukraine. Well, what people believe, what the government and what the BBC tell them, is as simple as that.
Brainwashed.
It's absolutely brainwashing. Yeah, it's brainwashing. So.
What baffles me, Rich? What baffles me, and this is, well, it doesn't baffle me. I understand, but there's a lot of people that won't think about this. I know you haven't said you haven't watched the news lately, but what I have noticed, what I did see, was that the government are paying every UK household £350 a month to take in a refugee from Ukraine.
Oh, yeah.
Now, you work that out, how many thousand people in how many homes each month over a year. Where is the money coming from?
Well, it's coming from you, Rob.
The taxpayer.
Yeah, it's coming from you.
Exactly.
It's not the government's money, it's our money.
The point I'm making, what's going off in the last 2 years, all the billions that have been spent, yeah?
Yeah.
Where are they finding the money to fund this?
It's in your pocket, mate. Your bank account. This is why they want.
Don't get me wrong, Rich. I'm not saying I'm against housing people who are in need.
We can't even house our own people. Robert, we can't even house our own people.
Exactly.
We can't even we can't even feed our own people. Why?
Yeah.
And over a load of scripts in nonsense.
Yeah.
Dave, how are you? Hello, my friend. Hi, lads. God, you've been called a lad, Rob. Mind you, Dave might be in the 80s.
A Jack the lad. Oh, God.
You know, when you've got the number of homeless, I know I'm familiar with the homeless plight, and the old medical thing that's been going on for a couple of years. Now the government did actually house, or home, I won't say house, sheltered most of the homeless. Okay, they took them off the streets and they put them in these like hotels, and they did it around my way. I'm very familiar with what goes on
Yeah.
in regards to the homeless, but they took them all off. Now, I don't think they took them all off the streets because they loved them and they wanted to home them. I think they took them off the street so they could be monitored.
Yeah.
Okay? Honestly,
Yeah.
I'm serious. So
Yeah.
they can be tracked and traced, like they want to do with everybody. Because the people that are least trackable and traceable are people that haven't got a home.
Yeah.
And I know,
Well, talking about track and trace, all this, when what's happened over the last 2 years about the thing you needed on your phone to be able to get into places and all that type of thing.
Yeah.
I will just enlighten you on what they've said. I think it was this Friday. They said as from Friday, none of that is needed anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
You haven't got to take what's it called?
PCR, is it?
PCR?
PCR?
No, the other one.
PCP?
The other one.
I don't know anything about it, really.
Lateral flow test, is it?
Oh,
stick the thing up your nose.
Oh, the Klaus Schwab. The Klaus Schwab. The nasal swab. Prison Planet. It's a physical prison planet. It's the mind that we need to have free. You're spot on there, Dave, though. Come on for a chat, Dave. It's easier chatting than typing, I find.
Dave Holly, he does a lot of what's going on in the skies, doesn't he?
Yeah. Yeah.
Very, 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 very nice guy. Very informative and a big friend of Dave, I believe, as well.
Yeah, I'm subscribed to Dave.
Yeah.
Is it 65% fluoride? Yeah, honestly, I know exactly what it does. I experienced it. It's completely shut down my and I was at college. I was studying architectural stonemasonry, which is basically making a knobbly rock square or cubed. And then also I did lettering, monumental masonry. And then I also did stone carving. Now you need your creative faculties in order if you're going to be dealing with things like doing artistic things. And I just noticed it. I was lucky that I noted that all of a sudden my brain shut down.
Yeah.
And that's what, obviously, thank you for that, Dave. I didn't realize that.
I knew there was a few suicidal tendencies related to it. I've heard that one before.
Yeah.
Because that's big in America, isn't it? They use it a lot in America.
Well, I thought it was outlawed, actually. I'm probably wrong, but it might. Oh, absolutely! It's in your face contempt, 100%. They don't give a shit. So, which they don't. They honestly don't. And we're getting bombarded by so many angles. Fluoride is probably the biggest one because how many people use Colgate and all these toothpastes?
Yeah.
If you go into, I don't know, let's go into Tesco's. How many non-fluoride toothpastes are there?
None.
None.
Yeah.
I go into Holland and Barrett. I haven't got many teeth left, but I go into Holland and Barrett and get fluoride free toothpaste. But how many people use bog standard fluoridated toothpaste? Do you use it, Rob?
It's in the water now as well, isn't it? It's in the water system
for years.
Yeah.
You probably got to go back. I don't know when the Rockefellers had their go. Setting up all the.
Give me 1 second.
Yeah, my experience with Prozac was it totally shut down my mental capacity to think. And I had a very good friend at college that dragged me out, and I was pretty suicidal, but I was ready to give up college. And I had a very, very close friend that I made at college. I was 30 when I went to college. He was 40, and he literally saved my life. He saved my college attendance by coming, and he actually come around and comforted me. It was simple as that, and told me a few truths. But I didn't realise that Prozac was basically fluoride. And I know exactly what fluoride does now. What's Rob? Rob, you've gone off to get your toothpaste to check. Yeah, if anybody that understands the truth, if you're still using Colgate, or what toothpaste you use, Rob?
Well, we use Colgate a lot as it happens.
Heck, man.
I know.
Why?
Yeah, well,
you're on trial now, Rob. Nobody that knows that man didn't land on the moon, nobody that believes in chemtrails, nobody that understands the government ain't for us, nobody that understands any of these, nobody understands that any of these things that set against us would use bog standard everyday toothpaste, particularly knowing it's got it on it. Contains fluoride. You should go to Holland and Barrett, Rob.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm telling you, go to Holland and Barrett. Change your toothpaste.
Oh, we don't use Colgate all the time. We've tried lots of different brands. Don't get me wrong. But go on. What were we saying about Holland and Barrett?
Well, Holland and Barrett. You hold the fort a minute. I'm going to go and get mine.
Okay. Well, Dave's just put a comment. Hello from Debbie. Hi, David. Hi, Debbie. Hi, Dave Holly. Dave Holly, UK. It's Dave down the pub with Peabody. Dave, do you want to come in and join us?
Yeah, come on, say hello. Deb, come and say hello. Please. Right, Rob. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Right, I use something. It's called. Now I get this from Holland and Barrett, but you can, if you go to a health shop, you'll get it. But you need, honestly, any amount that you can not have in your body has got to be better for you. Maybe it's maybe it's the toothpaste making you like you are. I'm serious. How on earth can anybody that knows the truth still use that type of toothpaste?
Well, to be honest, it's not, as far as toothpaste goes, there wasn't a lot of thought about on the toothpaste scene. I'm more concerned about what I eat and what I breathe in. But you're right what you're saying.
It says it on. I can remember. Hold the fort. Hold the line. The Freemason brought me here. Hey, Erratic, you can come on for a chat, mate. Erratic's in Australia. I don't know if you follow him, Rob.
No, but I will subscribe to him. I've not heard that name. So
yeah, he's a brilliant bloke. Current, truthful, knows the score, intelligent.
I'm getting the impression here that this is Debbie typing in David's comments, because it's come up. Dave will be in tomorrow's chat.
Yeah, I'm doing a live tomorrow. I think it's 7 now. Tomorrow night, 7 o'clock. Be great if you turned up, Rob.
I will do my best. I can't promise, but I'll try.
Well, don't promise. Really try. Dave, there's a link at the top of the comments, Dave, that takes you to StreamYard. I think it's the top comment. If you click on that,
I can invite him in there.
What you end up doing is you just got it's a very simple thing, and there's a little button at the bottom that says enter the studio, and then Rob will let you in. It's sort of like the green room, I think they call it.
Yeah.
Yeah, come on. Honestly, it's not. I don't like talking on my own. It's what we're here to do.
I was told you talk to yourself all day.
This is how Parliament should be. Parliament should be everybody having the opportunity to have their say as a government, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, I've watched a few Dave Holly's videos. I'm subscribed to him. I think I got him in my chemtrail
I'm
coop list.
subscribed as well. Yeah, I am as well. Dave Holly, if you're still watching, go to the top of the page on the comments. Right at the top, the very first is a link where you click on that link, and then it will come up on my screen, and I can bring you in.
And you can go out there.
Let's check the guest if he's done it already. No, he hasn't. He hasn't done it yet. Right. So, Dave, you need to go to that link and click on the link.
Right. Listen to me a minute, and then I can put this down. This is a toothpaste. Now, before I had radiotherapy, I had to have most of my teeth taken out. Okay. But I've still got a few left. I've still got about a third of my teeth left. But this is what I use. It's something called Nature's Toothpaste. Now we're talking about the People's Parliament, not Debbie, not the corporate parliament, the parliament of the bankers, not the bankers' parliament. Listen, I use something called Nature's Toothpaste. Okay, it's called Saracan, with natural extract of Salvador persica. Cleans, freshens, helps remove stains.
All right.
It's fluoride. It's fluoride free. Holland and Barrett. They got loads in there.
I'm going to go there. I'm going to go there.
And you throw that. Don't say, "Oh, I'll finish my Colgate and then I'll get it." If you stop now, Rob.
Oh no, I agree with what you're saying. This is all new to me. I wasn't. I mean, I know what fluoride does and all that, but because I'm not actually ingesting it, because I'm just using it in my mouth. I didn't think it was so bad.
It says in there, "Do not swallow."
Exactly.
Well, why?
Yeah.
There's Dave Ollie says thinks I'm in. He's just done a private chat.
All right, here we go. I'll bring him in. 1 second. There he is. Add to stream. Okay, Dave, you should be coming in very shortly.
Sodium saccharin free. Oh, that's a good one there, Em.
Where are we going?
Hello, Dave.
Hi, lads.
Hello,
good
Dave.
To see you.
Just sort the light out here.
Great to see you, my friend. I'm trying to check the ingredients, but they probably were on the box. Saracan. But why? Yeah, just do it, Rob. Just say, listen. You got to think. And this is the thing they give to children, babies.
I know.
This is why the people cannot be blamed for being so of the mind that they are. They just can't see it and they don't understand it. Right from birth, we are fed something that numbs the mind and stops free thinking. Anybody that uses any of that now just needs to say, why? It's a toxin. It's like a rat poison. I think it's a rat poison, isn't it? Fluoride. One of the fluorides.
I've heard that. Yeah, I've heard that. Yeah.
So, and this is the thing, because it's on supermarket shelves, people assume that it's safe for them. But because the government have allowed it on supermarket shelves, this is a problem.
It wouldn't be allowed on the shelves if it wasn't poisoned.
What did they say that again? I just got absolutely. It's an agenda.
It wouldn't be allowed on the shelves if it wasn't poisoned. There's nothing in a supermarket, not one item that you could bring to me that would stand up to question. And I question, why is that? Because if the product stands up to question, the packaging won't. One of the last articles I wrote for David Yates's books, I titled it Bait Stations, aka Supermarkets. It's a very good article.
What is it called?
The supermarkets are bait stations. They're drip feeding poison at every angle into us.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
It just proves to show you, if you just get a little bit right, how brilliant the human body is at mucking out shit all the time.
100%.
Yeah. And they are used as human toxic waste skips to to get rid of all this poison. Like fluoride is one of the most toxic chemicals known to man. It destroys everything it comes in contact with.
Yeah.
And they drip feed it into us.
Absolutely.
Phosphorus mining industry. It's evil.
Oh,
absolutely.
Pure evil.
Absolutely.
Does anybody out there know who actually introduced fluoride to the, to our system, like the dental trade? Who actually introduced fluoride? Does anybody know?
I would hazard a guess. I'll look it up in a minute, but I would hazard a guess and say the Rockefellers. They're the ones that set up. They're the ones that set up state education. They're the ones that set up the medical schools that took away the freedoms of herbalists.
But the biggest mistake doctors make is to go to medical school.
Absolutely. And then they introduce financial rewards for they're basically salespeople for big pharma.
Yeah.
And but this is the thing about complaining to the government about anything, about chemtrails, about fluoridated water, about why have they still got Roundup on the shelves in supermarkets? If it's on there, people will assume that the government deem it safe. This is the biggest problem we got.
It was the attack on our consciousness, and the fluoridation of the water was one of the most prominent things that woke me up 12 or 15 years ago. And the more I poked into it, the more I realised how sinister the shit was. And I've not paid the water bill since, and I refuse to pay it, and I don't understand why anybody would knowingly pay to knowingly poison themselves.
Absolutely.
And the guy on the phone was saying, "Hi Dave, why are you not paying your water bill?" And I said, "Because it's got fluoride in it." And she says, "Just a minute, I'll go and let you know exactly how much is in it." I said, "You no need to waste your time." I said, "The fact that it has got any in is it can only be in for sinister purposes." And she goes, "Well, do you use the water, Mr. Hollingsworth?" I said, "Yes, but only for what it's fit for. Shitting in." I've never heard nothing from them since, and that was 9 years ago. And I refused to pay. I'd rather adapt and overcome. We could turn it off for like it.
Yeah.
Dave, can I ask you a question? Have you watched any of Just a Voice 5's videos? Do you subscribe to him? Have you heard of that? Just a Voice 5?
No, I haven't.
Was it right? Okay. The only reason I'm saying is he put up a video. I think it was a couple of days ago, and he was showing the trails in the sky.
Yeah.
And I've never seen anything like it. It was like tic-tac-toe multiplied by 20. It's the worst I've ever seen it. He lives in Indiana, in the US,
What's his name? Just
a Voice 5. He's actually Richard that introduced me to him.
Yeah.
He does some very good stuff.
I'll look him up.
Yeah. He's sort of like I think he's isolated really. If he didn't have YouTube, he'd probably rip his head off. But just because we're quite fortunate here that we can mingle with our community, and we will find people that understand. You find people at work, Rob, haven't you, that know exactly what's going on, or have got an idea that certain things aren't right. Dave, I imagine you're the type of guy that knows people that understand as well in your community. I'm talking.
I'm not in the sense I've got 50% of them. I've got 2 brothers, 2 sisters, and one of each is awake and one of each is asleep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm fortunate. I've got several friends that are very, very aware of what's going on.
Yeah. We're lucky that we're not isolated in our own minds, really.
Yes.
But I think Ron on Just a Voice 5, he's sort of like an isolated case, really. He's retired, so he hasn't got to work. like a workplace to go and share the truth with, and yeah, so I think we're quite lucky that we've sort of found people that aren't, you know, I'm not talking about on YouTube, although a lot of relationships have been formed for me personally with Rob and Dave, Dave Yates, on a personable level. But yeah, he's pretty switched on, Ron at Just a Voice 5. But yeah, he knows what's going on.
Yeah.
And he's in America as well, so it's always nice to have.
Yeah, the full picture.
Yeah.
Can I just say at this point, Voice It says hi all. I want to put a big commendation out to Voice It because I watched a video they put up recently, and that was referring to chemtrails. So
Yeah.
if anybody hasn't seen that video, it is really good. I can't remember the name of it. It's a song. Obviously, it's a music video, but it really highlights what's going on up in the sky. So, Voice It, thank you for that. I enjoyed your video.
Was that his last one, Rob?
Say again?
Was that his last one?
Yes, yeah, the last one, yeah.
I was, because I said I was having problems with my computer. I didn't have any sound with it, and I thought, oh, he's uploaded a video, a music video, with no sound. But it was my computer shut down the sound, so this is why I had to reboot. But yeah, and by the time I managed to reboot, I was here. So Mind is a great place to retreat to. Well,
China. Oh, China announced new lockdowns due to the real virus from the jab. I know people. Right. Okay. Well, I'll tell you something now. I've got a friend who used to work where I work. He's only in his 40s.
Rob.
Rob. He wasn't. Yeah.
Rob, be careful what you say, my friend.
Yeah, I know. I'm not mentioning any names or places or
words.
How do you know what I'm going to say anyway? Are you psychic?
You just pinned a comment on the screen, mate.
Yeah.
As long so all you've got to do is say the Who is always right, I suppose.
Well, I'm not going to mention any words about jungle juice and jibby jabbies and all that sort of thing. I'm not going to talk about that.
Pin comment on the screen.
Right, let me read this again. China, New Zealand, Australia.
Read it out loud, Rob.
Right, okay, yeah, I wasn't going to read the last bit. I was just going to read the first bit out loud.
Yeah. But any of those words, mate, will get a spank.
Coming back into my mind, I know somebody who has done that, and they've gone rapidly downhill.
Yeah.
And we're talking like BCs. You know what's inside your body, which your heart pumps out. What does your heart pump out? Yeah, yeah, and then a C.
Oh, I know. A, blood clot.
Oh, Richard, you've just got me a strike.
You already had one, Rob. That's two.
All right, well, that's two now then. No, seriously.
Yeah, well, we know we really know the dangers of all that stuff now. But I got a feeling there's something they're gonna be pumping something really quite sinister.
Oh, I don't think we've seen anything yet. What we've seen in the last couple of years is nothing to what's coming.
Cheers, Anne.
The worst is still to come. I'm telling you now.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, they've only just started. They've only just started.
Oh, they have indeed.
Yes, exactly.
They have
exactly. That first 2 years was a test to see how people would react to the government's power and authority, and how people, whether they would succumb or whether they would rebel against it. And we know the result. We know we saw what happened, didn't we?
It's It's amazing how you can. I've been saying for years that people who watch the TV are toxic to be around. Not only are they now toxic to be around, they're dangerous to be around. And I was talking to a young man, a young lad in his mid-20s, about a week ago, and he'd been target practicing because of this crap that's going on with the Davos boys. I tried to tell him there's one big World Economic Forum party just playing their role, and he'd never heard of any of these organisations. And he'd been target practicing because he wanted to go and get him a Russian scalp. And I said to him, I said, what has put that thought in your head in this short time? In less than 10 days, you wanting to go and shoot somebody? Because the telly's told you to do so?
Yeah.
In 2 weeks.
Yeah.
The power of that TV is mind-blowing.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
And,
Well,
and
Dave, what you just said. Go on, sorry.
I know people still engage in it, even if they can't see through the matrix. Surely they can see through this shit. It's embarrassing to even see it on people's houses again. I cannot be around it at all. I threw 4 and skip in 2012. It was the best day's work I ever did, and I made sure that everyone smashed it. You couldn't poison anybody else's brain.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, what
Yeah.
you were saying about the power of TV, Dave. I was talking to somebody at work the other day about, the moon landings. And I said, how do you know we landed on the moon? He said, yeah, of course I believe it. I said, well, why do you believe it? He said, well, I've seen it on TV. That says it all, doesn't it?
Yeah, I always say to people when they mention the moon landing, and all I say is, go and listen to what Stanley Kubrick said about it, the guy that filmed it. Bear in mind, he filmed it, but he didn't go. Just leave him. Because wow.
Yeah.
That film, The Shining, there was a lot of pointers to that, wasn't there, in the film The Shining, that Stanley Kubrick did.
Yeah.
Yeah, like with the jumper, Apollo 11 on the jumper, the child's jumper.
Mm.
It's mocking. They mock. This is what they'll put it out there in as a mock.
And
It's mocking. Cynical.
They have to serve public notice. It's company policy.
Absolutely.
They do
Absolutely.
it. They do it to the media.
So it's but this is why I'm sort of going back to the fact that nobody can really be blamed for how they are, mainly because of the stuff that we're being fed right from birth. Fluoride, formula and baby milk, all this junk that's in food, everything, glucose syrup, glucose fructose syrup, and high glucose syrup is practically in everything. Even your HP original brown sauce isn't original, because the original used to be made of I think it's dates and sugar. Now they've changed it to tomatoes and glucose syrup. So it's not the original. The original is with dates and sugar, but the modern stuff ain't original. Everything has changed. And glucose syrup and the other derivatives is a corn syrup, but the processing process it pretty much destroys everything. We mock them back.
Corn syrup stops the liver from producing leptin, and leptin is what tells the brain that you're full.
Say that again, Dave. Leptin.
Corn syrup stops the liver from producing leptin, and leptin is what the liver produces to tell the brain that you're full.
Oh wow!
This is why people.
I've heard some of that. That's interesting.
And all this corn syrup, all that junk, it's all dressed up to be seen to be deemed to be of a benefit. They've inverted the food pyramid.
Absolutely, again, yeah.
Promoting grains as a healthy option, yada yada yada. We as a species are not designed to eat grass, and this hybridized wheat is an apiated grass, and it's debaucherous to the human body. And we're all walking around like decrepit old men, And it's not. That's 3, 4, 5 decades of eating wheat.
Wheat.
We can't digest it.
Oh, I didn't. I wasn't familiar with that. So wheat isn't a good thing to eat.
No, quite the opposite. It'll rob you of the nutrients.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Do you know, I was talking at work today to a colleague, and I was saying when I was at school, I'm 62 at the end of this month, okay, and yeah, shut up, Richard.
Sorry, mate. I was going to say you don't.
You bastard. Listen, and in my school, I think there was about 550 kids.
Yeah.
There was about 2 of them that wore glasses, probably about 2, I think it might even been 1 that had asthma, and allergies were unheard of. But look at the schools now.
Yeah.
What's the ratio now?
Your wheat has got a protein called glutamorphine, which hits the opiate receptors in the brain. Milk has got casomorphine in, which does the same. And they cover all that with a good coating of sugar. So, and you wonder why your children are not having a good day at school when you've just loaded Weetabix soaked in milk. Sugar. Wow.
And I thought it was the pop that did that.
And that, yes,
Yeah.
On aspartame. I just lost a friend of mine. He's only 52 with a brain tumor. Nice lad. He's a very clever magician. He couldn't pull this trick off there. He had a couple of sad years where he went a bit heavy onto the drinking side of things. But if you're drinking, say, Bacardi and Coke with a Diet Coke, which is riddled with aspartame,
Yeah.
or you're drinking a Diet Coke with your pepperoni pizza, when you drink aspartame or eat aspartame and mix it with nitrites in, like say your pepperoni, it creates DKP, diketopiperazine. And diketopiperazine breaks down to an enzyme called N-nitrous urea, which is one of the biggest brain tumor agents causing brain tumor agents known to man. And you've got the TV like Domino's Pizzas are promoting, come and get your pepperoni pizza and your Diet Pepsi. That's a common cocktail of poison.
Wow.
Dave, have you ever considered being a doctor? Your knowledge is absolutely staggering. You've obviously done a lot of research on this, and I'm really impressed.
It's horrifying what they're going away with. We've been dealing with alchemists ever since the day of Hermes Trismegistus. They know exactly what these chemicals and potions do, and that's the we're treated. It's token.
Wow.
That the ignorance that we've succumbed to is mind blowing. The ignorance is truly mind blowing.
That comment that's just come up, Dave, do you know what that is? Because I don't. It says, Paul S. says, you all need this in your diet. Now, I don't know what that is. Have you any ideas?
Methyl sulfonide.
It's MSM. It's said to. It's not something. If it's what I'm thinking, it is MSM. It's Dana Darnford shouts about it, saying it'll knock your cancer out of you in a couple of weeks. It's supposed to be an incredible cancer cure. That one that I'm thinking of.
Methyl.
That's what he's getting at.
I'm gonna have a look for that. I'll find a website with it on, Rob, a minute in the background.
Yeah, that'll be. I'm interested in that. I'm very curious to what that is because I've not heard of that. Methane. That sounds like something that could explode. You know, when you fart.
It's alcohol, isn't it?
Talking of farting, that a lot of people hold farts in, but that's the worst thing you can do. And I don't want to sound blunt here or whatever, but you know, some people deliberate hold it in because they're embarrassed, but you should let rip. That's what I say.
They always evacuate.
What was that? I saw there was some underpants that they were brought out recently. It was about I think it was about 18 months ago when I saw it advertised. Underpants that allow you to fart that disguise the smell, so that nobody can actually smell your farts. I don't know if that was true or not, or whether it was a joke. I have no idea, but
I've written quite a good article on xenoestrogens, and I called it bras and knickers. But if you're wearing nylon at all, and you can't buy any socks that's not got at least 2% nylon in, I wear hemp socks. But nylon, it makes me laugh when you see these guys cycling or running to get fit or wearing lycra.
yeah.
Because the lycra is riddled with what you call estrogens, xeno being foreign, estrogen being foreign estrogen. And it's a cell proliferator, cancer-causing agent, and turns men gay. And it doesn't wash out. So in a sense, they weaponize your clothing.
Yeah, synthetics.
I find it funny. I see somebody cycling or running in like that. I just think, oh wow, you don't know, do you?
Yeah,
A lot of people suffering through lack of knowledge, pure and simple. And all I've done, I'm no doctor, but all I did was TV off and just replace it with quality research. It's not hard.
What camera have you got, Dave? You know, when you're filming the skies above, what camera have you got?
You know, I've got the P1000. I just cannot get on with it at all. It keeps losing its focus. I feel like smashing it up every time I get it out. Ridiculously big. It's a bit of a supermarket camera, in my opinion. But the camera I use is a little Panasonic. I'll show you. It's only a little tiny camcorder. It's an incredible little camera.
3 eggs a day, great for the brain. Is it?
I think they say you shouldn't have more than 3 eggs a day. I don't know if that's true or not. They say that's the maximum we should be eating egg-wise, but I don't know how true that is.
Dr. Joe Warlock says to the ladies, is if you want your man to be studly, give him 8 to 9 eggs a day. Me and the dog.
How do you like your eggs in the morning? Fertilized.
little Panasonic, just this little Panasonic V80. That's all it is.
All right.
Tiny thing. It'll go up to about 3,000 digital zoom. That's why it goes blurry when you zoom in. But it'll zoom in more than the P1000. But it's digital. It's only got 90 optical zoom. But 90 optical zoom for something. It was a 200 quid camera. So it's not hard, you know. It's just a 200 quid camcorder. And I brought the expensive kit, and I just cannot get on with it.
All right.
That's collecting. The P1000 is ridiculously big, very difficult camera to train without losing your shot. The secret is having a good tripod.
Yeah.
I don't have a great knowledge of cameras. Photography isn't one of my specialties, you know. And
I'm, believe it or not, I'm terribly mark shy. That's why I don't mutter very much on the camera. Because I hate it. That's even more camera shy than mark shy. So you've done well to get me on.
Yeah, oh, blessings to you, Dave, for coming on. I mean, for you to have typed everything you said would have, you know, this is why it's important to share these sorts of things, because you've literally educated anybody that's here, everybody that's here. We've all been educated in one little way or another by what you said, and basically everything you said has educated me.
Yeah.
this is what it's all. This is what it should. This is what life should be all about. And those that govern and have authority, this is the sort of thing they should be telling us.
It gets easier. The more you look into it, the clearer the picture comes. It gets easier that any government agent in any form or fashion or form, whatever they're saying, the opposite is near the truth. No matter what form they're coming in, your dentist, your doctor, your government, any government trained agent, they've been trained in an arse over tip way to ruin your day.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know of anybody who goes to any trained government agent for health advice or any advice that their day betters for it in any shape or form.
Yeah. Oh, a dog named Boo. How'd you
Hello,
do?
dog named Boo. Hi.
Hello.
Hi. Welcome to the chat. Nice to see you. Well, welcome everybody. I'm just pointing out dog named Boo. It's just that's a new name just come up.
Oh, I'm familiar with a dog named Boo.
Oh yeah, I'm subscribed to a dog named Boo as well. Yeah.
Here's the thing about eggs: is what supplies the eggs will be a chicken. Now, is your chicken being medicated in some way, and does that transfer to the eggs?
One of the biggest things to watch for with your egg and where you're buying it from is they'll say free range and yada yada yada, but free range doesn't mean it's organic in the sense that it's been fed chicken pellets, and the chicken pellets you can buy them where they state and claim GMO soy free, and very, very few farmers are aware of the implementations of GMO soy in the feed, because GMO food transmutates the genes of whatever eats it and transmutates the genes of whatever whatever's eating it. So it can be transmuted through the eggs.
Yeah.
If they're fed GMO soy.
Yeah. Well, I'm vegan, so I'm not really affected by any animal products. So that's not my worry. But I know it is. I do worry about other people and what they're being fed and what they're, like you say, most people are pretty ignorant about the fact that your farmed animal, FARMED, is actually a farmed animal, PHARMED, because most farmed animals will be inoculated against some sort of illness. So people that eat meat, they don't realize that what they're actually, it's not just eating flesh. It's been fed with grass. They're ingesting all sorts of
very stressed food for all sorts of reasons. Most meats. I mean, I'm lucky with a local farm literally just around the corner from me. They straight out to their field and stuff that I get. Most of it. At least it even tells you the name of the lamb you're buying. It's like, no.
Oh, is that it? Here you go. that's very personable, that.
But it's not. The meat's not stressed. You see, they've had a natural life as they could have, and if people didn't eat, these animals wouldn't have lived. But the intense farming, it's done in such a method now. It's debaucherous. It really is a debaucherous way of farming. I was born and bred on a farm, dairy farm.
Yeah.
It was a wonderful. 70s was a wonderful time to be alive. We had normal skies. You could smell us. You could read the weather. It was a wonderful decade to be alive. The 70s were.
Well, what year were you born then, Dave? Well, I was born in 1964. Rob's about 1930. What, Rob?
You bastard.
You're about 1959.
Just because I like Al Jolson doesn't mean to say I was born in 1931. Okay.
So you're I don't know, what are you, 4 years older than me? So you
1960 for me.
Yeah. So you remember exactly the same as me. Blue skies, God's cloud, fresh mown grass and all that sort of stuff. Healthy food, home cooked food. That's why I asked you, Dave, is what sort of year you were born, and it sounds as like you're pretty much the same as us because
was it 67?
No, yeah, okay. So you were pretty lucky that you were born then.
Yeah,
because I mean, it's like they say. It's a Tesco's expression: "When it's gone, it's gone." Now, when that memory of what things used to be like is gone, because us old folk, us of this certain era, disappear, we take our grandparents and our parents' knowledge with us to the grave. As long as if we don't pass it on, that knowledge is gone. Now, if you've got somebody that's, I don't know, I'll push the boat and say anybody that's under 30 will not know anything different than what we've got now skywise or what we've got now technology-wise. This is how things are being normalized, food-wise, everything is. For the last sort of 20 or 30 years, anybody that's been brought up only has that as a reference point as to how much better the good old days were. You know, which is why I ask everybody, how old are you? And which is why I like having a chat with really old people like Rob. He's gone. You can sort of pretty much judge their life experience.
Yes, you can.
As to what they know and how. And I say, well, has life gotten better or worse since you were growing up? And nobody's turned around and said, "Oh, my life's got better," no matter what age they are, unless you're talking with people that are, you know, in their 20s. So, I mean, I'll raise David's thing again about his books, because what David's doing is he's logging every day. It's basically sort of like a diary with David Yates books.
Yeah, I've written in 5 or 7 of David's books. We did the geointerfering one's one of the best ones I think we've done together.
Yeah.
This is a beautiful book, beautifully put together. David did a wonderful job of it. A copy here somewhere. This is my favourite one.
What's that one?
What's it called, Dave?
There you go.
Oh, Lying Bastards.
Yeah.
I've never ever bought anything on Amazon. And I went to I told you, Robert. I think it was a day last week. I went on. I thought, right, I'm going to start buying David's books, and I set up an account. I ordered a book. I ordered one book, and my payment didn't go through for some reason. Now I always zero out my bank account. Because I only use it to pay my phone bill. So I was pretty sure I had enough in there, so I ordered a book last week. Now that's exactly what I'm going to start doing, because I think it's so important. I said to you, Rob, I said if I just had enough money, I would go out and I would literally buy thousands and just go out, leave them on a bus, leave them on a train station, pop them in my neighbours' doors.
I think David does. I think he throws as many as he can afford as the public. He leaves them in telephone boxes and libraries and wherever. I think in every opportunity, he carries a bag with him all the time, and he just gives them to people. I hate to think how much money he actually pours into the job out of his back pocket.
I agree with you, Dave. I've said about David Yates how he can devote all this time to do what he does. It's amazing, phenomenal.
And I don't know where he gets his gusto to keep going from. The amount of kicks and the balls the bastards give him is outrageous. Just for sharing the truth.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not saying that, boys. I'm not saying everybody hasn't got a clue. I'm not saying everybody, but in general, people are brought up to be ignorant.
Yes,
Exactly.
It's the TV is the biggest tool in the box. It's the biggest tool in the slave controlling hand is the TV. So
it's going to be the TV. I mean, the thing about the television as well is it's hypnotic. It's got a specific flicker rate that is pretty much hypnotic. Now, I haven't got
Listen, Rich,
Hey?
I'm going to stop you there because did you know Richie from Boston, don't you? You've heard of Richie from Boston?
Oh
Right.
yeah.
Well, he put a video up about 3 years ago, maybe, about the templates for these televisions and video recorders, and they do give out that frequency, that pulse, which can actually, affect your mind.
Yeah.
Did you see that, Dave? Did you see that one?
I probably watched most of his years ago.
Yeah,
I would have done. Yeah.
well, the patent for the TVs and the video recorders and that type of thing made it very clear that they were designed to actually hypnotize people.
Yeah, through
That's
the
the literal
VCR.
word for it.
You could hit back at you through the VCR. Yeah. It's like
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
It's a military patent. The video recorder is. It's like mind blowing.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So that's the power they have over the people.
Mhm.
And then combine that with the mainstream media that totally brainwashed the brain. The brain is
Well, it's hypnotized. It's hypnotized.
it's more than hypnotized. It's shrunk.
This is what I notice. Because I haven't got my own television, but if I go into somebody's house, and there's very few people houses I go into that have got a television on, but when there's a television on, it's sort of like a magnet. I can have it to either side of me, and it's sort of like a magnet. There's something about it. I've got to look at it. Now, either that's just the fact that I've been without a television for so long, or there's something that is trying to draw my attention to it. It's really bizarre, and I can sort of stare at it. It does. I can actually lose myself in the television. That's exactly what it does. It
It's
hypnotizes.
hypnotic, Rich. It's very hypnotic. Some people come home from work. What's the first thing you do? Kick their shoes off, put the telly on, sit down, and then they're in front of it for the rest of the evening.
That's it.
I'm very selective now in what I watch. I used to watch loads of stuff. I mean, my other half, she quite likes the soaps, Corrie and all that. Most women do. I don't bother with that. I like to watch more of the History Channel and documentaries and crime channels. That's more what I'm into. But I've stopped watching less of that now.
Yeah, because they'll poison your judgment.
Yeah, exactly. But I always keep an open mind on anything. I never believe everything I say. Never.
You can watch TV fascinatingly if you watch it esoterically.
Yeah.
Once you understand the esoteric version of it to watch.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Blink at the same rate that the TV blinks at.
It's evil.
And of course, they went over from like the pixelated televisions to when they digitalized everything, didn't they? There was that point when they did away with the old cathode ray tube, and then they went into the digitalized. They digitalized the network, and
everything went digital. Yeah.
They changed it to is it LED or LCD?
No, that's the type of TV screen.
Yeah.
LCD and LED.
Yeah.
Plasma. It was plasma, wasn't it? Plasma, LED, or LCD.
And here's the thing: LED is damaging to the retina. So this is why, for example, streetlights. These new streetlights they've got, apart from one of the weapons they do have is to affect the eyesight. It burns the retina, and I think, I mean, it was David Yates and Mark. Oh gosh, what's his name?
Mark Steele.
Mark Steele. When he first come out with it, I mean, the amount of things that I've learned on YouTube is just beyond anything that the mainstream teaches anything. But what that does is, like I say, I'm not going to take a YouTuber's word as gospel. I'm going to do a bit of research, and I actually researched LED lights. and the weaponry. And people were questioning, why did Mark Steele wear dark sunglasses indoors under fluorescent and LED lights? And the reason's obvious, because it does actually burn the retina, which might explain, Rob, why so many people are wearing glasses these days. I have to wear glasses now, but after having 20/20 vision about 10 years ago.
Well,
A lot of it is possibly to do with the television, Googling at the television. And a big factor will be the street lights and all the LED. Everything's LED, like headlamps and
sorry, I sneezed there.
Cycle lamps and just everything. Now these street lights, and there's something that we can't see. You might be able to pick this up on your camera, Dave. Is the flickering of LED lights. Our eyes don't pick it up in a natural state, but if you record, say, a street light,
they're evil. That white light destroys the retina, like you say, and you need to wear sunglasses at night, not in the daytime. Wearing them in the daytime was a good way of causing skin cancer. This is why Hollywood promoted the wearing of sunglasses, because the signals aren't getting to the eyes. You're in the sun, so the body doesn't send the signals to protect the skin from the sun, because it thinks you're in the dark. It's ridiculous to wear sunglasses in the sun.
Did you say ridiculous?
Mm.
Yeah.
The signals aren't getting to the eye to tell the brain that you're in the sun, to produce the melatonin to protect the skin.
Yeah. It's everything's a con, isn't it? I can't think of one thing that isn't a con.
I can't. I'm trying to.
Not one thing.
I'm just looking
I challenge anybody in the chat anywhere to come up with something that is actually true to be good to our health that the authorities put out.
The Bible.
Why do they say?
I've just answered your question, Rich.
Well, that's God's authority. Yeah, we can't argue with God's authority.
Well, that's good for everybody's health. You follow the Bible's counsel, you're going to have good health. To the best
there is a chapter in it that mentions about obey your government, Rob.
Is that William Shakespeare's version of the Bible? Francis Bacon,
yeah,
aka Shakespeare.
Yeah. Pay Caesar's things to Caesar, and God's things to God. So yes, pay your taxes, and that's as far as it goes.
Bend over backwards when they say bend over backwards. Operation Moonshot. You remember that? Operation Moonshot? But you know what a moon is? It's like you're bearing your arse, and a shot is, we know what a shot is.
I'm a bit puzzled with that one, Rich. You'll have to enlighten me a bit more.
Operation Moonshot. It was part of a rollout of the medical agenda. Operation Moonshot. That was the real thing. Boris Johnson came out of it.
Oh, right. Okay, I missed that one.
Yeah.
Can we just going back to grains again? I've just found my notes on no grain, no pain, and I couldn't think of the word earlier. What I was trying to think of was phytic acid. Because grains, it says it in my notes, and I don't like writing, they're very good summary notes. It says grains are one of the lowest foods on the nutrient density scale. Actually contains phytic acid, an anti-nutrient which blocks mineral absorption and contains enzymes, inhibitors vital for digestion. Phytic acid is stored phosphorus in plants and binds to other minerals, hence an anti-nutrition. It's lovely.
Wow.
And they're saying the grains are being promoted as a healthy option, and quite the opposite.
Am I right in saying that in some of these cereals they've been putting weed killer? I've heard that.
Wheat will give you sugar peak than any sugar, and it will glycerate in your joints, and this is what we call rheumatism. It's the decades of eating wheat. You should.
Wow.
What issues? You should cut out all proteins, all grains have a gluten protein. even oats,
Trouble
especially,
is, if you cut out all grains, that means cutting out beer, doesn't it?
especially blood type O people. They're specifically sensitive to oats. The oats has a evening is the protein in oats. Corn is zein, rye is saccharin, barley is hordein, wheat is gladins, and they're all similar to gluten. They're all gluten based, and they all wreak havoc on the body. Some people can deal with them better than others. All promoted as a healthy option, when the opposite is the truth.
So, Dave, can I ask you what
Dave?
on your average day, Dave? Sorry, Richard, I'm interrupting you again. I do apologise.
No, you carry on.
I just want to quickly ask Dave, on a normal day, what would be your healthy diet starting from breakfast? What would you have for breakfast right up until?
I don't get a healthy diet, but I try to avoid opening the packet to eat. I'm very, very aware of the poisons in some of the food that I am eating, but it's getting to a stage where you can't, like bread, you can't buy bread. It hasn't got E300 in it, which is evil. I start the day with eggs. Me and the Whippet share an omelette every morning. Well, I can generally go to about 2-4 o'clock before I need something to eat anyway. I like to do a fast for 16 hours. If you can get to 18 hours, all sorts of wonderful things happen. If you're diabetic, one of the things to do is intermittent fast. Get to 18-20 hours twice a week. It's not hard to do, and you watch your diabetes reverse, because the blood is then.
Oh, right, that's interesting.
Every time you eat, insulin raises, but on a cellular level, the cell needs to dance with glucagon sometimes. So insulin or glucagon, which then maintains the homeostasis of the blood sugars in the blood. Insulin all the time. Glucagon can't play its role. And when insulin stops, when you stop eating, 18 hours, glucagon will come in to replace the role of insulin to maintain the sugar level in the blood with the glucose reserves. But under glucagon, the cell regenerates all its spent organelle. The lysosomes can recycle all the spent tissue in the cell, and it regenerates and recreates 4 amino acids, which are the building blocks of life. There are only 20 amino acids, maybe 22. So that's massive. A massive amount of recycling is being done in the presence of glucagon. So that intermittent fasting, diabetes is just a cell going, for fuck's sake. That's all it is. So one of the healthiest things you can do if you're poorly in any form is stop eating.
Yeah, I've heard fasting is like one day a week fasting. I've heard that's a good thing to do.
You do that often, don't you, Rich?
Say again?
You do that quite often, don't you?
Fast?
Yeah.
I do actually. I've actually practiced sort of going without.
I had a Welsh dick doctor square up to me. I won't mention his name, but he's Welsh and he's a dick doctor. You think of better trades are doing if he's a Welsh bloke, but there you go. And he comes in the local sometimes. And I heard him years ago. He says, "I've got to tell 13 people tomorrow to go and put their affairs in order because they're dying," because he didn't know what else to do with them. And I was talking to another guy in the pub about this diabetes and autophagy, i.e. intermittent fasting, and allowing autophagy to take place. And he turned to this doctor guy and he mentioned the word autophagy to him, and he says, "I've never heard of it." And I said, "You call yourself a doctor?" And he says, "It's not my department." I said, "It's not my department. What I know about it, I'm not telling people to go home and die. Because if they implemented that, I can guarantee 50% of people that he told to go home and die wouldn't die." It's that simple. Give the body time to recoup. The body's natural state is a state of well-being.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It needs fundamentals to be well with, and turn the taps off from being poisoned. If you don't turn the taps off and become a detective of what's poisoning in the first place, you'll end up mopping up in the other corner. And you go to a doctor and all they do is mask a symptom with something that's going to cause a symptom. What they're giving it for. Every medication the doctor prescribes as a side effect of the symptom that is prescribed it for, like Prozac, for prime example, may cause suicidal tendencies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, call your doctor if you do.
And
We
here's
all
the
need
thing.
to start going natural, don't we? Natural garlic and herbs and
Yeah,
know.
if your granny didn't eat it, don't.
That's well said. Let me interject here, because this year on my plot, I was actually going to be growing wheat. I was going to have a little, just to see if I could grow wheat, but I think I'll lend the ground over to something else now. I just haven't heard that.
Yeah.
So thank you ever so much for that, Dave. I could probably get. It was, unless we're educating these things, we obviously don't know. No, I didn't know. So, I could have been poisoning myself, thinking I was doing myself good by growing my own wheat.
This is why they gave him the Nobel Prize in 1955, was it? The guy that created that hybridized wheat, because it's the slow killer. Why they cash in? It'll get you through winter, but if you live your life on it, it'll knock decades off you, or decades of misery in an aching body because of the effects of the prolamines that's in wheat.
Wow. It
just slows you down. You can just go wheat free to give yourself a small target. Do it for 10 days. Try it for a week, especially if you've got psoriasis or a skin condition. That's just dirty blood. You've got dirty blood through eating dirty food, and round up glyphosated hybridized wheat.
I used to suffer from psoriasis as a teenager. I had it bad when I was a teenager, psoriasis.
That's your body's smart.
I don't have it now.
That's your
I don't have it now.
That's your body's smart response to being poisoned.
Right.
What is it to being poisoned? It's wheat and milk.
Yeah, I'll tell you what I did look up yesterday, and I was quite curious about. Now I've got something here. Because I'm vegan, I use gravy granules from Sainsbury's for vegetarian dishes, and I thought, right, I don't like buying pre-made stuff, so I just looked at the ingredients, and the main ingredient is actually called potato starch. And I looked up on YouTube how to make potato starch. Now, potato starch can actually be used as a thickening agent, and it can also be used it grinds down into a fine powder, so it can also be used as a flour for making, like breads, which is probably the main staple of the main food that wheat is going to be bread and cakes. So, there's so much available on YouTube if we know what to look for.
Well, it's so diluted.
Say again?
It's so diluted now.
It is, yeah.
The information that we had privy to 3, 5, 7, 8 years ago is not available no more.
Dave, do you drink alcohol?
Yes.
What's your favourite tipple?
I tend to stick with the Christie of it. Well, when the Yanks got involved back in the Burton area, was filtered, renownedly good area for brewing beer because of the bedrock that the water was filtered through. Americans took them out and boiled it with that special water. Sadly,
I'm not hearing it too clearly. It's a bit broken up, Dave.
They poisoned your beers, you see, with they even put E150 caramel colouring in, especially like Newcastle Brown, and even Guinness has got caramel colouring in, which is disgusting.
Oh dear.
If that needs done.
Oh, I've been drinking Guinness Porter tonight. I'm drinking Merlot now. I've got a glass of Merlot here. But I was drinking Guinness Porter earlier.
They even put corn syrup in Guinness now. Last pint of Guinness I gave toothache. I thought, what the hell's going on there? So I looked up his ingredients, and since they got took over, they put corn syrup in.
Cheap. It's cheap,
Poison.
and it's got a result of of making us healthy.
Drip poison.
I know Richard drinks cider. He's important. He drinks cider.
Oh yeah, very rarely. But you know, I mean, anything you can brew yourself, I would say drink.
My brother has had all sorts of issues he's had strokes. He's got a nerve problem through being poisoned through sheep dip and the chemicals in farming. He's 10th generation farmers, and he's had to pack up because of his ill health and through the poisons of the farming, and then led to strokes, which then the stroke treatments then led to him being diagnosed with prostate cancer, which then they diagnosed him to be an aggressive bone cancer. He was going for this bone cancer on the day before his cremation 3 years ago next week. And I spoke to Mark today, and I said, if you lined up for their protocol, I said, you'd be looking at Bonnie Bugger now. You'd be alongside that guy who's just died of a brain tumor, and he knows. My Christ, as my brother seeing through the bullshit. He eats a piece of dandelion every day. He just incorporated turmeric into his diet about a month ago, and for the first time in 8 years since his strokes, he's been able to go up a ladder 4 or 5 rounds.
Right.
Because his right leg wouldn't work. He got his lazy right leg after his strokes. He had 3 or 4 little strands, and he was milking 2 days later, farming for it. And then he had 2 big strands 2 weeks later, which took all his legs and his arms. 1 arm worked, and his speech. And he self-medicated with CBD oil. He has something out of his garden every day. He eats a lot of eggs. He's on Celtic salt, filters his water, and he eats a bit of a dandelion every day. Every day, he's almost annoying how much he keeps going about dandelions. But this turmeric, he says he's getting even better. The result, and he gets better and better and stronger as weeks go by.
Yeah.
A lot of health benefits in dandelions, I've been told. Very, very good for health benefits, dandelions.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Well, I was quite.
Mark says he just picks a leaf and just puts it. Even if he's having a bacon sandwich, he'll just pick a dandelion leaf and put it in it.
Yeah, you can eat the root. You can eat the heads, the flowers.
He'll pick nettle leaves and just eat them, just because he knows he's always picking something that he knows is.
Yeah.
One of the phytonutrients that we need to.
Oh, nettles are absolutely amazing. I've got a video that I'm editing at the moment about nettles, and there's 4 times by weight. There's 4 times as much vitamin C in nettles than there are in oranges.
I believe so. Yes.
You know, and this is a thing. Your companies like Roundup, they promote your dandelion. And they promote stinging nettles as being a weed that we need to eradicate from existence. This is how they sell Roundup, is by criminalizing the poor, beautiful dandelion and the poor, beautiful stinging nettle.
Yeah.
You know, the whole system is geared.
Roundup is actually patented as an antibiotic.
Patented as what?
As an antibiotic. And when they apply it to the field.
Dave, did I hear you right? You said Roundup is painted as an antibiotic.
Yeah.
Roundup. Are you serious?
No. Yeah.
Bloody hell!
And because when they spray it on the field, it destroys what's called the shikimate pathway in the soil, which is a bacterial pathway where the plant's exudates communicate with the soil's exudates, and the plant can take up the nutrients from the exudates and the bacteria that break down the nutrients for the plant to take up, and it stops chiefly manganese, and all the plant can't then produce the amino acids that we need to make us. And
wow,
spray that on your soil, you just destroyed all the microbiome that's in the soil.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, yeah.
You're rendering your soil dead and dormant as regards growing anything in your nutrition in it.
It's out. It's out. It's
That's just from the soil on the plant. That you'll get a plant of size because we put the fertilizer on to do it, but it'll be nutrient deficient because they've destroyed the soil's ability to give up the nutrients because it's killed all the bacteria in it. I'd say it's antibiotic.
It's outlandish. It's outlandish.
Evil.
Well, absolutely evil. Yeah, absolutely evil. And unbelievable or believable, depends if you believe. Wrestle against flesh and blood, but against spiritual wickedness in high places. The whole system. The whole system is absolutely at one.
There's the war is on Genesis. The war is on creation itself.
100%.
And to point you into the pharmaceutical direction, that is your only cure. Pharmaceutical.
Absolutely.
You know, there is no other cure. You've got to go pharmaceutical. They are the savior. You know what I'm saying? Boom, 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 boom. In the old arm.
Pharmakia. Sorcery.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pharmakia, sorcery. Exactly, Dave.
They're telling you all the time.
Sorcery. Yeah.
They tell you all the time.
Yeah.
Going back to turmeric. Now, my mother is 70. I think she's 76. She is 76. She kind of shrugs off anything really that I sort of say health wise, unless I can show her a YouTube video. Now, I showed her a video of turmeric. Now, my mum's like bog standard British home cooking, and I was bleating on about turmeric, and then I showed her a few videos on YouTube. She comes down once a month to visit, and so I whip out the old YouTube, and I think, right, I'll show her a few videos, and so I showed her a few turmeric videos, and it was a few weeks later, and she phoned me up. She said, "Oh, Richard, you never guess what I've done." And I said, "Have you bought some turmeric?" She said, "Yeah, how'd you know?" Well, she had had a chat with. She still works. She works in the hospital, and she'd had a chat with a Polish work colleague that actually said it as well. So I was absolutely smitten when my mum actually turned to turmeric as like a remedy. But the thing is, it needs to be taken. You probably know this, Dave. Is black pepper enhances the effectiveness of turmeric by a huge amount.
Tenfold, yeah. And it also needs an oil carrier. Oil. You need to have it with an oil like a coconut oil.
Yeah.
You need some oil in it to make it bioavailable for the body.
Okay, yeah. But I mean, these things we were taught at school, weren't we?
That's the metaphor in the Bible. Is gold, frankincense, and myrrh. The gold is turmeric.
Oh gosh. Oh, that's clever.
Turmeric, frankincense, and myrrh. They're all wonderful healing products. Your frankincense and myrrh, your frankincense internal, externally, myrrh chiefly externally, and turmeric internally and externally. They're all.
Wow. That's put a lot.
And the goal is
turmeric.
Was a multifaceted.
Cracking up, Dave.
Geniusly.
He's breaking up, isn't he?
I think you're being targeted because you know too much. You stop.
Poor Dave.
Yeah, they don't like the truth. They don't like it. But this sort of stuff, Dave. I know you've frozen now, but have you actually logged this in perhaps saying one of David's books or something?
Bits of it, you'd have to buy the books.
Dave, you literally froze then. All this information, Dave, have you actually logged it in, say, perhaps a book or, you know, a collaboration with David Yates?
I've had a difficult year or two, and I'm perhaps should lean on Dave more, because I do have some quite interesting information.
Yeah,
I've got some formidable notes. They're all handwritten. There's not a lot on computer at all. There should be, really, because but it's all just done for my personal reference point. You see, summary notes to go back and if you see, you learn all this. It's so easy to learn something. You just watch it, get an idea of it. Then take pen to paper, take your summary notes as a prompt you, and put the book down. Maybe look at them in the morning, think, oh, I can't remember writing that, and then look at it 2 weeks later. You're like, oh wow, I forgot I wrote that. 3 months later, you do the same again, and then you look across it a year or so later, and you realise that you've got it, and you don't have to remember stuff. It's vital to write things down.
Oh, absolutely.
Just one little bullet point note, just a prompter to remind you. So much shit to take on board.
Yeah. There's two types of brainstorming. One is when, like we're doing, it's like getting more than yourself together with somebody else. That's one brainstorming. The other brainstorming that I'm aware of is your brain is probably like mine. It's full up with stuff.
Yes, fuzzled.
That's it. So if you know, from my experience, if I want to pick on a certain thing, it's jumbled around with other things. So this is why it's important. And I was actually taught this as a technique: is to brainstorm, to empty your mind on paper, like you said, bullet points. So it's not in your mind anymore. If you don't have to run it around in your mind,
you don't have to think about it.
That's it. You can go to that piece of paper there with those notes on, and continue that mindful conversation on paper, so it's not stuck in the mind, rattling around with everything else. And the first time I ever did it, and this was many years ago, the first time I did a personal brainstorm, it was like, wow, having an empty mind is quite, you know, that isn't fraught with, you know, frustrations at not being able to concentrate on one thing at a time because there's something else in the mind. It was absolutely revolutionary to just to the freedom that my mind had to concentrate on one thing at a time. So brainstorming sounds like what you're sort of doing just by getting these notes out. I mean, I got loads of notes myself.
Another way of retaining things is it's not a method I use. I have done, and I do for something like we want to understand the liver. It's a wonderful way to learn it. Is do a mind map and do it in colour or whatever colour. What you have, coloured crayons or coloured pencils or whatever, and just write. Be generous with your paper and just write your subject around in the middle of the page. Put a colourful circle around it, write it in the colour that you're using, and then do a path off it, like a root of a tree or a branch, and the mind map, like liver, blood, and then notes off that, and that then you'll be able to just picture it in your mind, the mind map that you've done. Yeah. You could just put, you could do a mind map for the weekend. Just put.
Dave, can I just ask you? I think you've been on YouTube for a while, but when did you actually wake up to what's going on? What year? Can you pinpoint a year when you woke up to what was really going on?
And similar to Max Egan, with growing up on a dairy farm, feral as such, I knew as a very young teenager that the worst thing that my mother did was register me at birth. I just got that straight away, and I knew something weren't right with that. Because I knew that if she hadn't done that, I could have hidden under a bush all day, just carry on the farm, and the system wouldn't have known I was here. I just got that. I just got it. And it took me 30 years, really, to stop being an idiot, to figure out how big that red, white, and blue dick was up my arse through the common law and the Chester KV Trust and that understanding, spending time with Jordan Maxwell and the sorts and those sort of people. And I just... What drove me more than anything was the health of my parents and realising the debaucherousness of the health service. And
Okay.
them from poisoning my parents, especially when they killed my mother. Basically, our treatment hasn't worked, so we'll kill you. 2 days, they locked that morphine needle onto my mother, the one they put in the case, and my mother knew this. They upped the dose to the point of death. It took 12 hours to kill my mother, 15 maybe. And that's euthanasia, legalised. Can't be any other. That's state murder. They state murdered my mother. I vowed then that they would not do the same to my dad.
That's really sad.
They got me dead off all his medications. And he knew the chem training as well. My dad lived to be 89. He was born in 1929 on a farm. And my dad didn't see electricity till the age of 14 on a dairy farm. He didn't. And the first time my dad experienced electricity was in the lamp bulbs on the canopy of a showman's engine, the steam engine at a fair. The very first time my father experienced electricity.
Wow.
What year was that?
That would have been in the early 30s.
Right, because when you look back at some of these world events, trade fairs they called them, I think.
Yes.
You know, the electricity, free electricity, which they had, which has been hidden from us. What do you think about that?
Well, they can't put a meter on it, can they?
Say again?
They can't put a meter on it. So they suppress it.
They're talking. I'm talking about the World Trade Fair now, like of I can't remember where it was, but it was like late 1890s, and the whole area was lit up. The whole area of this World Trade Fair was lit up back in the 1890s.
Wow.
And the source of power, they didn't, you know, electricity was supposedly introduced later on, but they had all this lighting system, and it was free electricity. And Edison, you've probably heard of Edison, he had a lot to do with, you know, and I think that's why he got done away with. I've got to be careful what I say here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they did away with oh, what's his name? Tesla, Nikola Tesla as well, didn't they? And Wilhelm Reich. These people that
yeah, understood. They had technology which has been hidden from us. That's the way I see it. The technology has been hidden.
It's like Dave said, if you can't put a meter on it, it's they don't want it. It's like running engines with hydrogen, water.
Yeah, it's all about that, isn't it? The moolah. It's all about the moolah.
It's more than money. It's about
control
and contempt. It all is.
The height of everything is all about control.
I think it's biblical. Tribal. There's just tough tribes trying to get all the rest of them. They've just about achieved it. I think what's being done is tribal, biblical tribal thing. It's
definitely biblical, yeah.
It's monumentally big. The contempt that we've been given, and see what the problem with Western man is, he doesn't realise that he was the first one to be enslaved to this SKB and in the slave system. And anything that we allowed access to is only benefits their slave system. And it does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's introduced to be seen to be deemed to be as a benefit. Mobile phone, perfect example. Look, Allison, Coons, everybody talk about spray and mirror. Someone's in your own demon. Wow.
I tell you what, this is something I really want to talk about in a future, maybe a future live stream. How technology and history has been changed. They've they've diluted and removed periods of time in history. What's that book you're showing there?
This is
Invisible Rain.
an incredible book, absolutely incredible. You don't just have to read the book. All you can do is flick one page and just start reading, and you go, "Wow!"
Invisible Rain.
How the EMF affects the human experience, and has done for us. And there's a very, very interesting piece in here about how EMF causes flu-like symptoms. Imagine that. Yes.
Invisible Rainbow.
Incredible book. One must have for the library book, for the shelf. It's an incredible book. Like I say, you don't just have to read it. You can just flick through it, open any page. I challenge any guests who've got from around here, they open it up and it's what you landed on. And they read it out and I go, wow. This is an incredible book. Too thick for me to read. I couldn't sit with it. Well, I flick through it every day. I flick through it. It's something incredible.
Spam, Rob.
Yeah.
Spam.
Delete. Block user. There we go.
Lads, it's been lovely meeting and chatting with you, but I'm going to have to shoot off in a sec.
Oh,
Yeah,
David's
well, I'm
coming
going to
up
have to go myself, Dave, because I've got my other half coming home shortly from work, and I've got to prepare dinner. So, Dave, thank you very sincerely. Thank you for joining us tonight. Richard and myself really appreciate your feedback, your comments, your knowledge, and it was fantastic having you with us tonight. Absolutely amazing.
Oh, thank you. Dave, you're a blessing, mate. Honestly, you've been gold sent. Honestly.
Yeah.
Honestly, I've learned so much, and it's a pleasure. Honestly, it's an absolute pleasure.
As I said, it gets easier because once you realise the level of lies we've been bestowed on us, it does get easier to see what's right and what's wrong. Because they only tell us it's a crock of shit.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Everything's in
it only takes one domino to fall, and it's kind of the whole line will go, which is what basically what happens when the medical, the food, everything.
I mean, just before I go, I only got me a little YouTube channel just reporting the chemtrail and debauchery setup. I also run an awareness group, or try to, on Facebook.
Okay.
4 years, we've got about 4,500 members. I think they hide the numbers, make it harder and harder to run. And it's called UK Geoengineering ... and stuff you ought to know about. And there's a whole array of topics in there from the geoengineering, and it's a platform to people report their geoengineering reports. Interfering, we call it. And there's topics in there from HEC 293 to Prozac to magnesium to all sorts, and you'll find some of the best links on there that is on the internet. If they're still on the internet, that is. But I'm banned for 30 days for which I am.
You naughty boy.
Being truthful, they only ban truth.
But not only am I banned, I now can't actually even access the account. You need this double identification authentication, and I put in their code that they send me via text, and it just freezes and just won't go no further. They will not let me even access the account now. So I'm getting a lot of gardening done. I've
got quite a few Facebook pages. I've got 2 of me. I might have actually subscribed to your group. I'm a member of a lot of groups. I gave up using Facebook because it was just the amount of information I was getting. Primarily, it was about child abuse. That's my main focus was on the amount of child abuse, and that was my main thing on YouTube, on Facebook. So I sort of needed a break from it, and I had like a year break, and I went back to it, and it was just so heavy. But what if you tell me the name of the Facebook the Facebook group again? I'll look it up because I'm going to start using it again. Facebook. I've shared this live stream on there. Again.
That's if I can get on again to run it.
Yeah, but can you still? Oh, is that your Facebook account is locked?
I can't get onto Facebook at all because this double verification identification thing they want, and it just won't accept what I put in. It just freezes on me.
Oh.
Go through the process of the bullshit, and then the computer says nah.
And that is the program on that.
I don't go through the arse ball ache of emailing them or mothering them or doing this, like that. I just go, righto, says that's not working, so that's that then. And I just don't worry about it anymore, because if people aren't aware of what's going on now, it's a little bit late for them, is it?
Oh, I think so.
You can't keep being your brother's keeper. You can't hold the hand of everybody.
Yeah.
It'll exhaust.
But it shouldn't, it shouldn't really stop us trying, should it? You know.
I always said about David Yates, yeah. David Yates, sometimes he feels a little bit belittled and that he's not winning or he's not reaching anybody. But I said to David, when I texted him, I said, Dave, if just one person, if you drop that seed, that makes one person just think a little bit about more what's going on, and they then come to terms with what you're saying. I said, you just one person, you've won. Just one person. So as I've said to you, Richard, I'm not bothered about number of subscribers, right? I'm here to try and get the truth out, as is yourself and Dave and lots of others, Dave Holly and Dave Yates. Right. So them that have got the ears to listen and the eyes to see, they will see it. So even if just one person is brought into the fold, then we've achieved. Oh, I've got to repeat on it.
It's a success, isn't it? This is the thing. They haven't played their end card yet, so we've still got time.
God, yeah.
They haven't played their end card. Their end card is going to be, is going to be something to do with technology in the body. You know that. I mean, Klaus Schwab said about it back in 2015.
It's going to be.
Say again?
I believe the end card is going to be the alien invasion. That's my.
They're still. They haven't played their end card yet, and their end card directly to do with us and our health and our body and our mind is going to be something to do with technology, because this is the way it's going. It's technology, iron and clay. It's mixing iron with clay, and that is, we are the clay. Technology is the iron. As soon as that's in the body, that is pretty close to the end game, because everything then is at their whim at the flick of a switch. That's how I see it. So while we've still got time before they implement this, we're not going to give up anyway. You can't shut a trooper up. Can you?
Our goal is to enlighten people and try and get them to wake up to what's going on.
Well, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. Dave, what's the name of that group on Facebook?
Say again.
What was the name of that group on Facebook?
My group is UKG Engineering. ... and stuff you ought to know about.
UK Engineering.
There's some wonderful people in it. It's not the group as it was when it was smaller. It's not as personal. It isn't because it's the time I just get as a. But as I say, I can't get access to it at the minute. But there's other people running it, I hope.
Yeah, I'll look it up. Because I'm going to start using it again. Yeah, I'm going to start you. Before you toddle off, now your name is familiar, probably from Facebook. Do you know a gentleman called Mickey Summers? I can hear an echo somewhere.
No.
I can hear it as well. I don't know what. This has only just come on. I don't know why.
Yeah. But Mickey Summers was, I met him on Facebook. He was abused when he was like a child, so he passed away now. But he was the one that basically opened my mind to the corruption that exists in the powers that be. So, I seem to have there's an echo. Can you hear it, Rob?
I can hear you, but there is an echo, and it's only been the last few minutes.
Yeah. But,
well, we'll call it a day anyway.
What more can be said? Well, that's almost 2 hours.
And once again, I want to thank Dave Holly. I want to thank Richard the Stonemason, not a Freemason, for joining, and everyone who's joined on the chat. Thank you very much for your comments. And Dave,
thank you, Robert.
I really hope we can get you back in again sometime in the future.
Yes,
Rob, just take that last comment up, Rob. There's a comment by Dialine Parole.
Right, let's put that up. Let's have a look.
Just before we disappear.
What do you know of DCA mineral?
DC, a mineral, or DCA, a mineral.
Talking in alphabet.
Why have we still got this echo on here?
Echo Bonita, where can she be?
Hey, Richard.
Yes, mate.
There's one thing that I forgot to do tonight.
No.
Never mind. Oh no. There's one thing I forgot to do tonight, my friend. Do you know what that is?
Yeah.
What is it?
Take it away.
I'm just trying to get it up now. Come on. Come on. Come on. Here we go. I am the cider drinker.
I drink it all off the sea. I am a cider drinker. It soothes all my troubles away.
We'll have to think of some free music for Dave Holly, won't we? We'll have to think of some music.
You'll do well to get me. You'll do well to get me singing.
Thanks again, guys. Really appreciate it.
Did you make a note of that DCA mineral, Dave? Does that ring any bells?
No. DCA, what's you referring to?
Well, it's either DC mineral, a mineral, or DC.
I know what DOA is.
I'll look at that.
Either way, I haven't got time to.
No, it's all right.
I haven't got time to get into that. Rob, Richard, it's been a pleasure.
Oh, God bless. God bless you.
Yeah.
I've no idea how you sign out of here.
You just leave studio at the bottom of your screen.
Yeah. Oh,
thanks, guys. Everybody watching, everybody commenting. Dave Holly, Richard Stonemason, and myself. Thank you, everybody, for joining, and we will see you soon. Thank you.
It's been a pleasure.
Good night, everybody.
Bless you all. God bless you all.
Bless you all. Good night. Thank
Cheers,
you.
Dave. Cheers, Rob.
Good night.